to Retail Therapy. My name's Will. In the studio with me as always, Barrett Dudley. Barrett, how we living?
Life is totally different, Will.
Yeah.
Here I am,
Right?
a new man, reborn amidst the fire and the flames of having a newborn at home. So, everything's changed. And I just touched the mic like Randy asked me not to. So my bad if you just heard a big bump. But I simply cannot be tamed. And when it comes to my movements of the mic or my raising of a child. So
you're talking to a no judgment zone over here.
Yeah.
If you're unfamiliar, Barrett's now a dad.
That's right. How could you not be familiar? I mean, if you're listening to this podcast, you probably knew I teased it for like 3 weeks before I left. I was like, it's definitely happening this week. It's very weird how like before baby came, we were expecting the baby to come early. Everybody we talked to was like, yeah, it's probably definitely going to come early. And then as soon as we like got up to that full term 40-week mark, all I started hearing about was like, oh yeah, we went a week past. So it's like it's very much like that thing. Like if you start shopping for a Honda CRV, that's all you're going to see on the road is Honda CRVs all of a sudden. Is that thing where like before your full term, it's like all you hear about is early pregnancies or like babies arriving early, and then you hit that full term or you get real close to that, and then all you hear about is people being a week late or full term everything. So yeah, we went the full 40 weeks. She came on her due date.
See? Shouts to the doctor.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
What's up?
Get that doctor in Vegas stat.
Yeah.
Everything is at home is going, I think, as well as it could. As I've already said to you guys out in the bullpen, I got to give major props to the SNU, to the makers of the SNU.
So yeah, that was going to be my question.
The only reason I have any sanity and any sleep at all at the moment.
One of my questions is going to be for the retail heads out there.
Yeah.
Like what early purchases are leading the clubhouse of like what you like? Because I learned that being a father opens you up to a whole new world of cops.
It does.
You hear these words like the SNU and the Brezza and the whatever. And like, if you're not a parent, you have no clue what they're talking about. But then suddenly you form these very deep takes on them.
Shouts to friend of the pod, Cat Pat, who's doing a lot of like mom content on TikTok, and she just did one where like basically making fun of all the moms who are very brand loyal to these very niche products. You're probably going to hear a lot. You're probably going to hear a lot more, parent talk on this podcast, I would imagine. Once you enter the club, it's like you can't help but join in the conversation. But the other thing that I'll say before I just like name drop some brands that we're potentially loyal to at this point is that you can do all the preparation in the world. You can buy everything that you think you needed. You're going to need, and you're going to get home with this baby, and you are going to make a Target or an Amazon purchase every single day for the first 3 weeks.
Oh yeah. And then for the rest of your life,
and
Barrett,
maybe for the rest of your life.
But
we simply cannot get ahead of having what we need.
No.
Every single day thus far, like there's been an Amazon delivery, or I have to go swing by Target to pick something up,
and it will never end. Promise you that.
Okay. So for the non-parents out there, you've got that to look forward to. The other thing is like, I don't know what it is, but like you get real caught up in thinking you're going to need all of like the big things when this baby comes. You don't need shit when the baby for the first first several months.
No, you need a brain and some bottles
and like and the SNU or a bassinet, but like you and a car seat So we went with the travel system that we went with. We went with Nuna. So we have a Nuna Pippa RX car seat and the Nuna Triv stroller. Okay. But that stroller is not going to get used for another 6 weeks because this baby, like your pediatrician is going to recommend that the baby doesn't go do things until it's 8 weeks old. Whether you abide by that or not is obviously up to you. But the
stroller thing's crazy because that's like the most outrageously priced stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's Like when you get we had the collapsible stroller, the Duna.
The Duna. People love the Duna. Yeah.
I've loved the Duna, and we ended up using that way more than the nice stroller that like people combined money for and bought for us.
I don't think that Laura can get a Duna in and out of the car.
It's difficult.
It weighs 17 pounds without the baby. Yeah. So she's not built for that. It gets difficult, especially as the baby starts to chonk up a little bit. Like you start really you really have to start putting some might into that and swinging it into the car. But I do know people love the Duna. We also like already got like our all-terrain stroller, which we have taken around the block a time or two. We went with the Thule Urban Glide there.
Okay.
But then we have like a fully decked out nursery. You're not going to use that stuff yet. The baby doesn't sleep in a crib until it's 6 months old or whatever. Like,
nah.
Yeah.
I was putting together like things that my boys didn't use for months. And it was like, oh, so the day before he was born, I could have just not put this together and been freaking out.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So Nuna, Thule, nursery furniture is all from Baby Leto.
We got to do real or fake baby.
Baby
products on circling back.
Bottle preference right now is even flow, which every time I pick up one of these bottles, do you know what I do in my mind? I bet Randy does.
I was about to make a Jared Leto joke, 30 Seconds to Mars, and then you're doing Even Flow, which is Foo Fighters. So
Pearl Jam. That's what I do. I pick up the bottle and I go, Even Flow.
You have to.
Because you have to.
You know ball on that front. I agree. We have other bottles and we've used other bottles.
On the Even Flows?
Yeah, but
did you just have to look up to see it to make sure it was the brand that
all the branding is scrubbed off of ours at this point. So
we
also have like the nipple part of it. It's like so stretched out at this point that like if he drops it, it just milk everywhere. But like he's so late in the game that I don't want to replace him.
The Spectra breast pump is that thing be hitting the Medela manual, you know. So there's stuff that's already really working for us, but yeah, man, these first weeks, it's like you're just sitting on the couch with this thing. All it does is it eats.
That's why
Barrett takes shits and it sleeps and then it screams, and those are the four things that it does.
This is why I'm telling you that if you're going to get in on Love Island, now is the time. All you're doing is sitting on the couch and hanging.
Okay, here's where the thing that I've been worried about most recently is early baby screen time. If this baby's eyes are open and it's kind of like looking around, I don't like having the TV on in front of it.
So just set the baby up right in front of the TV facing you.
But what's the ruling on that? Like I know they're not supposed to have like direct screen time for 18 months or whatever.
Yeah.
But like if it's just ambient, is it okay? If the baby's asleep or breastfeeding, I'm totally fine having the TV on. But if it's like kind of looking around and stuff, I'm trying not to let those rays hit her eyes.
Sometimes you got to do what is going to keep the parents surviving.
I know.
You know what I mean?
What I mean? That is true.
I had a very hard time early on in parenthood of being insecure about what I was doing, and then on the flip side, being judgmental of what other people were doing. Mm-hmm. And like the biggest thing for me was just simply getting over what everyone else was doing and being like, okay, what works?
Yeah.
What works? Yeah. And once I got over that, being a father was a lot better for me.
Yeah.
It was hard to figure out.
Yeah. I think a couple of things just on like advice wise, I think there's no amount like this. Most of the stuff that people will say to you before you have kids will go in one ear and out the other. And so like you've all heard, all the non-kid havers out there have all heard that like it just like totally wrecks your sleep. Mm-hmm. But it really, 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 really fucks your sleep. Like to a degree that you simply cannot prepare for. Like for at least 2 weeks, probably 3, you are not going to get a stretch of sleep longer than 3 hours.
Yeah.
That baby has to feed every 3 hours.
Yeah.
So there's no like, maybe I'll get 6 tonight instead of 4. No, it's just, you hope to get full stretches of 3 hours. And then slowly that will stretch to 4. And we just got cleared for like 5 if she'll go 5. But like your sleep is like fully wrecked and like doesn't actually get fixed until they're maybe 3 or something. I don't know. And even then it's like probably still fucked.
No, well, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. No.
And then the other thing is like, it's like, this is all the parents are just like nodding in hard agreement now. But this is work, man.
Yeah.
This is not passive. This is active. This is like, this baby owns you, man.
Yeah. Changes everything, dude.
It's like you are, this is a physical and mental engagement at like every moment of the day that you are awake. Because even when the baby is sleeping, you're going to be nervous that the baby is not breathing.
Constantly.
Okay.
Constantly. Yeah. Is it breathing?
So the whole thing
is breathing?
Is kind of insane. So I'll say the best advice or the truest thing that somebody told me, I think, is that, and I think this is a common refrain, but like, you're a perfect parent until you become a parent. And then everything goes out the window and then you're just going to do what works. Like, because we went in and we were like, we're not going to use the snoo. We're not going to use a pacifier, blah, 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 blah. And then like immediately, like 2 days in, you're like, give that baby a goddamn pacifier.
Where's the pacifier?
If it will give me 10 minutes.
It's like falling, like in the beginning, the pacifier falls on the ground. You're like, borderline going to the store to get a new one. And then like 3 months later, you're just like, all right, put it back in his mouth. Put it back in the mouth. Doesn't matter.
So like we were lucky enough to have, I mean, friend of the pod, Ross Bolin, he lent us the snoo and we were grateful to have it as a, in our, in the arsenal basically, but a little unsure about it.
Lean in, dude.
And then,
snoo rules.
3 nights of 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. and inconsolable crying with nothing able to fix it. No breastfeeding, no rocking, no lullabies, no, like literally nothing. Just purple crying, colic, whatever you want to call it. And then we like, I like, the snoo is kind of hard to set up if you have Google Fiber, by the way. You got to do a couple workarounds. And I was like, I was quick on the Amazon orders to get what I needed to get to make it all work.
Oh, we didn't have to do anything.
This is super boring. The snoo has to connect to 2.4 gigahertz network instead of 5. And if you have Google Fiber, it combines those two so that you can't choose. And so you may have to buy a Wi-Fi repeater so that it splits the networks. And so that you can choose the 2.4 gigahertz one, which is what we had to do. And the point is, I would have done anything to make the snoo work, and I did, and it changed the game. So thank you, Ross, and shouts to the snoo.
I just realized that we did not have to worry about that, as we did not have Google Fiber when we used the snoo, and when we moved into our new place and got Google Fiber, we no longer had the snoo.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, before we get into today's episode,
with the parent corner, we can move on.
Let's talk fucking drip. No, I'm just kidding. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Aura Frames. I think we all know someone who loves taking photos. I love taking photos. Your boy loves taking photos.
You do, yeah.
Just got a new camera yesterday.
I heard your camera broke. How did that happen?
I fixed it last night.
Oh,
so now I have another new camera.
Oh, so you fixed it and bought a camera?
Well, I bought the camera before I fixed it.
Okay, and it came at sadly, it sounded like it may have come at the expense of a new sport code. So
yes, it did. Yeah. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. But that's okay. I love uploading my photos to the Aura Frame. So put your photos to good use. Get that stylish digital picture frame from Aura Frames. It was named the #1 digital picture frame by Wirecutter for a good reason. It's so easy to set up. We've got a ton of different frame options. We've got these in our house. I've got one set up with my parents. I love dropping photos in there. You can even drop videos in there. Learned that from our friend Randy. It's just cool. My mom loves seeing pictures of the grandkids. I'm sure yours will too, Barrett.
Indeed.
It's just one of the best gifts you could ever get, but it's not even just a good gift. It's just a cool thing to have around the house. It's nice to turn a corner and see a different photo every single time or most times. And the pairing that they do with these photos. I mean, it's like
good pairing.
Like a crisp Sauvignon Blanc and a plate of oysters, how they pair it,
If you have ever scrolled through your Photos app and just been like, man, I've got so many photos.
Got so much gas.
And I never see these things. Or maybe you're on your iPhone and you get that little thing over if you swipe all the way to the left and it's like Longboat Key, February 2025 trip, right? And you're like, oh yeah.
Forgot I did that.
Well, now just imagine having a frame in your house that is just constantly showing you all of your favorite and best memories.
Yeah. And unlike the iPhone, it's only the ones that you curate.
Right.
So it won't hit you with like a depressing one or something.
Yeah.
Or someone you don't want to see.
Right.
It's like, oh, I forgot I hung out with them for a while. All you need is a Wi-Fi connection, baby. They got all the storage you need, unlimited even. So you can put all the photos and videos that you want in there. Aura's got a great deal for us for a limited time. Listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $30 off their best-selling Carver matte frame. That's AURA frames.com, promo code AURA20. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions do apply. Where do you want to begin, Barrett? We got a lot going on. I've got the newsletter that I sent out with stuff we would have talked about, and maybe some of the stuff I still want to talk about. You tell me.
I think I've been watching The Gilded Age. I started The Gilded Age.
Okay.
And this is The Gilded Age is a show on HBO about The Gilded Age. And yeah.
You don't say.
And they basically it's about late 19th century society in New York City. And one of the characters he's basically the guy that made it cool to summer in Newport, Rhode Island. But there's lots of talk about people going to Montauk and the Hamptons and everything else. People were summering 150 years ago, as it turns out, in these same places. So I think on the tail of me getting into the Gilded Age, we should talk about what it costs to go to the Hamptons on a girls' weekend in 2025 as opposed to 1882.
It's one of those. This Wall Street Journal column is one of those columns that comes across the feed, and it's like, oh, I can't wait to talk about this. Can't wait to talk about it.
If you're
all the West Village girlies have migrated.
Yeah. If you're a news publication and you want to get featured, your article featured on Retail Therapy, just write about the New York girlies and what they're doing. We'll talk about it. We will.
Like reading this article, I had a lot of different emotions. One of them was anger. One of them was just straight up jealousy. It was just like, man, like I want to be a West Village girl that gets to go to the Hamptons and spend $5,000 every weekend. That sounds so dope.
Yeah.
Well, the Wall Street Journal has put together the jaw-dropping cost of a Hamptons girl weekend, and they've put together a little receipt for us. Do you want to break this receipt down?
Yeah. Are we talking the girls' weekend Hamptons NY receipt right here?
Yep.
Yeah. So Carissa's the Bakery matcha latte, obviously, $8. Not a terrible price for a matcha latte.
What are your thoughts on dudes drinking matchas these days? I've been seeing some chatter that they're for the girlies only.
Well, I never like to gender anything like that.
I don't either.
If you want to be a matcha boy, like get your matchas.
I don't like the flavor of matcha.
Randy's over there smiling.
He's adding Dylan Shivery right now.
Why?
Because Dylan's a big matcha guy.
Has Dylan been sipping on some matcha lattes?
He's a matcha latte guy now.
Come on, Dylan.
I like that for him.
No, I just don't like matcha, so it's hard for me to get in on any of it, but I saw some chatter that the girlies were trying to get the men to stop drinking them, and I'm like, you can't.
Is this like when they tried to get the men to stop going to Solid Core?
Maybe.
Have you heard about this?
No, but
are you familiar with Solid Core?
Somewhat.
It's basically a Pilates class, but it's like even more advanced. It's like instead of a reformer, it's called like a megaformer, and it's like ultra difficult. Mm-hmm. So it's a very intense Pilates workout class is the best way to describe it. And the girlies love it. And they get a small subset of said girlies get very mad and will post on social media and Reddit when men are in their class. If there's a man in their solid core class, they don't like it.
I kind of get it. I kind of get it. Like one hard eye contact and suddenly you're like, get this guy out of here.
Yeah. That's fair. But if you're just if you're a nice guy just trying to get your workout in.
Yeah.
If you're head down, eyes on the ground, eyes on your own business, like
I always did kind of feel like when I used to do spin classes with Sally pre-Peloton, I was always like, they don't want me in here.
Right.
I'll get in the back dark corner. I'll mind my own business. I'll put my head down. Like, don't worry about me.
It's not worth complaining about. These spaces are open to all. I've enjoyed a matcha latte here and there. I do. It's just kind of grassy milk you know? So you got to be in the mood for some grassy milk.
Yeah. I mean, like if it's a matcha flavored ice cream or something, like I'm still out. I'm not a picky eater, and there are very few foods that I just will not do, but that's a flavor that just doesn't really work with me.
What I'm not into, because I'm not into any of these types of drinks, is like, you know, the big ones now. It's like, do you have a strawberry matcha? Do you have like a one that looks cool? So like Manana at South Congress Hotel, right, does like a green and pink one that like looks really Instagrammy, and that I order black cold brew whenever I'm at a coffee shop. Like
I order vats of cold brew and put it in my refrigerator and drink that.
So you know, I'm not hating on any of the dudes out there that are getting in on the matcha. These pastry prices, I am a certified pastry boy. Everybody knows that about me. An almond croissant for $7 is a lot, but like in the Hamptons, I'll just say, starting off on this receipt, this is not blowing my mind yet.
No. And the only issue I have with this receipt is that you don't have to do this stuff. You don't need to go take a $75 Tracy Anderson workout class.
Tracy Anderson workout class for $75. Now we're starting to get a little
if the house you rented has a porch, just go do a girl workout outside. You don't need to go have a leader.
Now we get into, okay, now we're talking. Duryea's lobster Cobb salad, $97. That is an expensive salad. I'll give them that.
If I am sitting at a lunch and someone orders the lobster Cobb salad for $97, I'm immediately ordering one too.
You have to.
I'm not getting the chicken sandwich that was sounding good to me anymore, because I need to up my price so that I'm not getting screwed here on the bill split.
Yeah, this is called defensive ordering. And if somebody drops the lobster Cobb salad and you know that a bill split is coming at the end, you better order one too.
Yeah. I ordered a lobster Cobb salad at a restaurant in LA where John Hamm and what's his first name? Slattery?
John's.
Is it John?
I think it's John Slattery too. Is it the Johns?
I've never really thought about that. Where they eat a lot, and they had a lobster edition option.
Do you want to name names? What was the restaurant?
I can't remember the name.
Was it the Ivy?
I think it was the Ivy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the Ivy.
Okay.
And like the waiter came around and like he took everyone else's order, and some people started adding lobster to their salads, and I was like, well, okay, wait, hold on, I'll do the lobster too. And then he asked everybody if you ever, like, the second I ordered a Bloody Mary, he goes, double? I was like, no.
Well, that's where you got to start. That's what I was about to say. It's like if somebody does drop the $100 salad on you, I think the move is to meet the, you know, to call essentially, and then you raise. Mm-hmm. You call and raise. Mm-hmm. So you say, oh, me too, and also I'll have a glass of the $37 champagne.
Or you could do a $36 rosé flight, which actually doesn't seem crazy.
Again, now we're back to stuff that doesn't sound that crazy. Now, continuing on the beverage train though. $950 for Surf Lodge bottle service. That's a lot. That's a, you know.
Yeah.
But is that getting you straight into the Surf Lodge? Are you getting to cut the line for that?
See, I don't know. There was a point in my life where like Surf Lodge would have been like the ultimate. Like I got to get in there. Right. Now it's like, I don't need to be there.
No, that time has passed.
It looks miserable.
I want to be really clear here. If
you have an in,
wants to take me to the Surf Lodge, if I end up in a situation where we're going to the Surf Lodge, not waiting in any lines, anything, like, I'm going to be okay with that. I will be okay with that. But yes, it's no longer like bucket list for me.
Yeah. I mean, $600 for groceries, that better be split between everybody.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I spent at Central Market this week.
Pretty much. And like, here's the thing. The hair extensions for $180, the Russian mani-pedi for $250, the fake lashes for $120. Is it necessary? No. But do I understand why you want to do it up? Of course I do. Mm-hmm. Like, before I go on a trip, I always want to get fresh. I always want to feel good going in, have a little haircut, get that neckline cleaned up. You want to feel fresh on vacation.
Yeah.
But I feel like you could figure out some of this on your own. Yeah. Like, you could just go get fake eyelashes and have the girls put them on at the place. Like, you don't need to go spend $120 on that.
The Montauk Motel for $1,500. And then obviously all the glam that you just covered. Yeah. It says here, between weekend home rentals and hotel rooms that go for 5-figure nightly sums, a procession of pricey meals, drinks, and Ubers, and outfit changes for every stop, a content-worthy girls' weekend can easily hit $5,000 per person. And that's if you forgo ultra luxury features like Blade helicopter transportation. I'm not getting in a helicopter, so that's out for me.
I'm also out on hot air balloons.
Yeah. Yeah, both.
Yeah.
Both are no-goes for me.
I had one option to do a hot air balloon in my life, and it got canceled due to high winds. And I'm officially glad that my mom and I didn't get in that basket.
Yeah.
Just not happening.
Here's the thing. I sort of expected this to be maybe a little bit closer to 10,000. And maybe that just speaks to the number of kind of bachelor parties that I've been on that quite easily get close to this number because of the same things that they're talking about here.
Yeah.
Because of the procession of fancy meals, because of the bottle service of the club, because of...
I think if you really do it up, this could be on the lower side. Because if you're doing bottle service at Surf Lodge, I don't think a lot of people are stopping at one bottle. And I think one bottle is probably the $9.50 that they're talking about based on bottle service prices that I've seen and shuddered at.
Yeah. So what we're saying is that they're undercutting it here. I think they're underselling it here a little bit.
They could have gone harder.
I think they could have gone a lot harder. And I would not be surprised if the West Village girlies are reading this and kind of scoffing at that 5K number. Like, now maybe a lot of them are getting a lot of this stuff comped, or they're on somebody else's tab, or what have you. But I don't know. 5,000 sounds about like what I would expect for a weekend trip in the Hamptons.
I mean, they do say here that a lot of this is due to FOMO. It's just I kind of have to go for one weekend because everyone else is doing it, and I just can't sit here in my apartment in New York City anymore and watch this. I need to get out of here.
Yeah.
They didn't include the bladder Botox, which I thought was interesting.
Right. For the car ride out there.
Yeah, because you gotta keep that bladder on lock. You know. Yeah.
And really, can you put a price on a perfect little Instagram carousel that just gets you like mad likes and does numbies?
It's like, sorry, I just paid $500 per slide. That's what I'm doing.
It's the cost of doing business.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, but babe, think about the cost per slide.
That's the CPS as opposed to the CPW, the cost per wear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So not cheap to do a Montauk Girlies weekend, but I didn't expect it to be. So
you know what else isn't cheap? Doing an Italian wedding for the richest man in the world.
That's true.
New York Times just put out a column called Italian Destination Weddings Are Having a Moment Again. Lauren Sanchez and Jeff Bezos' upcoming nuptials in Venice spotlight Italy's timeless appeal as other Italian cities continue to grow in popularity for U.S. weddings abroad. And as someone who has been to a Italian wedding each of the last 2 summers, I will say that, yeah, they're sick. And I would like it if they keep having a moment. I'm a little bummed I don't have an Italian wedding this summer.
Yeah, it's kind of a stain on your record. A lot of people are saying that.
It's a bummer for me that we don't get to go anywhere this summer for a wedding, but like I can see that it's just eating away at my wife, Sally. Like she is dying inside. I think she's seeing all these posts of people that are
Bezos
like
wedding.
All the people traveling in Italy before they go to the Bezos wedding. And she's like, I feel like everyone's in Italy right now. I'm like, well, they are, Sally. If you're rich, then you're there.
It's also mostly billionaires. So
100 private jets flying in for the wedding. So I will not be recycling for the rest of the summer. It is not on me to figure this out. I'm sorry that climate change exists, but I'm quickly realizing that my choices are minimal compared to other people's choices.
I do feel like this wedding, I don't think it's going to be a real turning point or an impetus for change or anything like this, but it is definitely, it is like, it feels like a fuck you from the ruling class to everybody else. Does it not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hitting at a time too where like the spotlight is truly on the billionaires to change some behaviors.
He rented Venice. He rented the city of Venice, right? Isn't that what I read?
I don't know. I'd believe it.
I'm pretty sure he rented the whole city, basically. And like and obviously nobody like the shackles are off, right? Nobody cares about being seen here. Like Leonardo DiCaprio, the ultimate, environmental activist, right? He's not worried about his reputation for going to the Bezos wedding. The Kardashian-Jenner clan is not worried about any repercussions for supporting this oligarch.
They don't care.
You know what I mean? This is just Oprah's there. Like this is. If you have $1 billion, you're probably at this wedding. If you have 500 million, there's a good chance that you're at this wedding. Like it's a little in 2025. It's a little gross, right?
Yeah, and like it's also in a city that is being significantly affected by climate change.
Right.
Like I don't have much of it. Out of all the places in Italy that people go to, Venice is truly not high on my list at all.
Okay.
I just
don't want to be in a little gondola, like
not really.
No,
not really.
Just sailing around the city.
Just looking at pictures of it stresses me out a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I just imagine gondolas slamming into buildings and stuff.
And
like I don't know. Yeah. Like
I
don't know. There's something about it that doesn't like it. It's just not my top. Mm-hmm. And I would I go there on a trip over there if it was convenient? Yeah. Absolutely. But there's no part of me that's like, I got to go to Venice.
Yeah.
I got to go. It does look beautiful and cool.
It does. And I mean, it's weird to like, I don't know. It's weird to be on like a materialist aspirational podcast and be like, fuck these billionaires and their lavish vacation. But it's just a little, I don't know, there's a line, and I feel like they're definitely, they've crossed it in a way that I don't necessarily blame them for, but it is just very much like, oh dude, like this is just going to get the eat the rich chance, real riled up.
Well, part of the reason I want to eat the rich is because I'm not the rich. You know what I mean? Like I'm jealous. Like any down talking I do of them, it's because I'm like, well, yeah. What if I had an invite to the wedding? Would I like to fly in a private jet to Venice? Yeah, I would.
So
yeah, I would.
Just to I'm going to keep coming back to the Gilded Age here. The premise of the show, as I mentioned, is about like New York society and about how the old money folks don't want to let in the new money folks to any of their stuff, to any of their social circles, basically. And so the show essentially sets you, and the people that they don't want to let in, these kind of main characters, are the wealthiest people in New York, essentially. They are the new ultra wealthy. And so the show sets you up in a way that only an American show could, to be cheering for the richest among the rich folks. Mm-hmm. And it's that's something that I think we uniquely do as Americans, is we have this, we all want to be rich, and therefore we have a soft spot for the ultra rich. And we kind of don't want to like it's almost innate to like support them and not want to see them be taken down a peg, because we all kind of harbor this minuscule hope that it could be us one day. Does that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if we get the chance to just like play at it a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's, I'm sure the wedding is a lot of fun.
I think we'll have more, I think as photos come out from this wedding, there will be more fodder to talk about for this wedding.
Yeah.
And I hope that actually occurs. Can I speak to our friends over at Shopify real quick? If you're starting a business, if you're doing anything, could be starting a podcast, you could have a product that you sell yourself. Maybe you're a ceramicist out there. It's kind of hard to figure out all the stuff all in one place. I mean, it's kind of hard to figure out everything you need to do, but if there's a place where it's all in one place, why not go that route? I'm talking about, of course, Shopify, the e-commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world, and 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands just getting started. If you're familiar with this podcast, if you're familiar with Sunday Scaries, anything, if you bought a zine recently, thank you for buying that zine. Just know that we listed everything on Shopify. Shopify makes it so easy to do everything. Just uploading the photos, uploading the products, uploading everything. It's just simple, but setting up the website especially is just much more simple than you would ever expect. No coding required. All you need to do is just check out a template. You can change it all up with your colors, with your scheme, with your fonts, with your spacing, with whatever. And suddenly you have a beautiful new website. Accelerate your content creation. They've got all these tools that help write product descriptions, page headlines, even enhance your product photography. But you can really just get started with your own design studio with hundreds of ready-to-use templates. Shopify helps you build a beautiful online store to match your brand style. You can even get the word out with their marketing team behind you. You can easily create email and social media campaigns wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. And best yet, Shopify is your commerce expert with world-class expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping to processing returns and beyond. You can truly do it all in one place. If you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Turn your big business idea into reality with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/scaries. Go to shopify.com/scaries. Again, shopify.com/scaries to use the same platform that we use. Let's see.
What do we want to hit, Will?
Ooh, I just wrote a column yesterday for Washed Weekly. Washed.substack.com if you'd like to go read it. You know, we've all seen it. We've talked about it many times on here, Barrett. Just dudes reading. These guys are getting shamed on the subway for reading My Body by Emily Ratajkowski.
That's right.
You know what I mean? They're being labeled as performative. They're being ridiculed online. Even the hot guys reading Instagram account has turned into not even one that stands these hot men. It's kind of just low key making fun of them.
That's sad.
It's sad. We're just losing our heritage right now. You know?
Yeah. Don't shame us for being bookworms.
Exactly. You know? Like, what if these guys are reading it and they actually get something out of it?
Yeah.
Who knows? I've decided that this summer is the summer of reading for me. I've just finished my first book of the White Boy Summer Reading List. It's Graydon Carter's biography called, autobiography called When the Getting Was Good. I have to say, Barrett, as someone who knew very little about this man before, he is so retail therapy coded that it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. He was the editor. He didn't call himself editor-in-chief, even though that's what he was, but he was the editor for Vanity Fair for 25 years. He stepped down after Anna Wintour kind of took control of things and decided that she was going to take away a bunch of his team and compile them together as like more of a general team. So he didn't have his fact checkers, stuff like that. But just hearing the journey and just seeing the rise, like I think I tweeted something like, you'd love this book if you grew up with a stack of magazines on the back of the toilet. And if you were a magazine person back in the day, if you're a magazine person now, whatever, like this guy has such great insight into everything. Now he has Airmail Weekly. Have you seen that?
I think so.
It's kind of his retirement project that he's got his son involved in and a bunch of other people involved in too. But it's like Cassie David, Larry David's son. She writes for it.
Yes, that's exactly who came to mind.
I think there's better writing on. Like I think her stuff is fine on there, but I think there's a lot of better stuff on there.
Okay.
I'm a recent subscriber now because I appreciated his biography so much. I mean, the guy does it to the nines. Let me give you an example.
Does the Silver Fox need to be added to the watch list?
He might be. He might be. I want to read about him not from his own voice because I do feel like he rubs people the wrong way.
Okay.
But I based on his just general views in life, I think that I very much agree with a lot of takes that he has.
Okay.
He's not a fan of. He was never a fan of Harvey Weinstein, even before all the stuff came out about him.
Yep.
He just hated the guy, banned him from numerous parties, said he was an asshole, didn't treat people well, would show up to parties he wasn't invited to. But one of the things that I found really interesting in the book was that Vanity Fair, when he took control of it, he kind of thought that Hollywood was losing its luster a little bit, and like the Oscars and things like that. People stopped showing up to the Oscars as much as they were. So he decided to take over do an alternative Oscars party and turn it into like the most exclusive party in
the
Hollywood.
Vanity Fair Oscars
exactly.
Party. Yeah.
And so he was really the driving force behind that, and just hearing how he set up these parties, like all the things that went into it. The guy has an eye for detail that I really appreciate. One of the things that he said that weirdly stuck with me was, if you're doing place cards for a wedding, always put people's names on the front and back of the place card. So that way, no one has to walk around the table trying to figure out where to go. If you're sitting at the table and you're sitting with people that you haven't met before or you just met, you see their names on the back side, so you never have to worry about that. And like, it's just small things like that, making sure they had the right champagne, making sure they had the right whatever, like just everything was taken into account. The guy would have loved retail therapy. He would have had us on board at Vanity Fair if we were existing in 1987 right now.
Mm-hmm.
What was that?
That was a sound panel that just fell. An acoustic panel.
Okay, I thought it was like a car driving into the studio, so I'm glad.
Nah, I fixed it earlier and it fell down again. So I'm going to have to put some new tape up there.
That's okay.
Hey, happens.
Hey, it's a live show. But like he has a long running beef with Donald Trump. I think he might have been one of the people that started talking about how small his hands were. And so there's like 45 tweets from Donald Trump that he put in his book. He's got rules to live by toward the end of the book that include just things like carrying a handkerchief on you. And he lists like a million different reasons that you should have a handkerchief on you. He talks about, what was it? There was something toward the end of the book that I thought was so retail there. Oh, he just goes through the random things. He calls himself a collector. And as you start going through all the things that he's purchased for himself in life, you're like, oh, I wish I had it like that. He's like, yeah, I didn't buy any crazy expensive cars, but I did have this British racing green Aston Martin. And it was like, okay, hold on. Like, yeah, Vanity Fair must have been popping back then. I mean, they truly had no budget.
I mean, yeah, it's a heyday, Condé Nast heyday. Right?
They had no budget for anything.
Yeah.
anything. It was like, oh, you're writing a story? Cool. Let's say you're writing a story on the Oscars, or you're covering the OJ trial. You weren't just sent to LA for like a weekend to go figure stuff out. Like, you weren't going back and forth to New York and stuff. Nope. They were putting you up in the Chateau Marmont. You were getting room service for every meal. You had a driver to the courthouse. Like, it was the most baller shit you could imagine.
Yeah. Yeah.
He just won a style award for something, and I kind of get it, because he just has a very old-fashioned style. But he said that the one thing that he wears the most is a Lacoste polo shirt that was like a limited edition one where they had a white alligator on it, and he says he wears one every single day.
Wow. Okay. I mean, a Lacoste polo shirt, never not out, really.
No.
Yeah.
No. I need to, maybe this weekend I'll step out and get a piqué polo shirt.
Yeah.
Because I'm lacking right now.
Yeah.
I'm lacking.
Yeah.
Next on my reading list, I've already started it, is Keith McNally, the Balthazar owner's book.
Right.
Much different vibe.
Now you are with your White Boy Summer reading list. You're doing exactly what the New York Times says that men are doing, which is not reading fiction.
I am.
You're not reading any fiction.
Correct.
You're reading nonfiction.
I had a conversation yesterday with somebody. I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was telling her that I just don't read fiction anymore. It's sad. Like, the only fiction I read is Sally Rooney, because I just really like how she writes, and I just think her stories are pretty interesting. But like, this article kind of goes through and says that so much fiction is catered towards women now that men are just kind of being boxed out of everything.
Huh.
And I think that is kind of true. I think with the rise of these romantic novels, or whatever you want to call them, with, beach read, like that kind of vibe, like I do think there's much more catering to that. And I also, like, I can't really name that many male fiction writers that other guys that I know read often, that aren't fantasy novels, that aren't that kind of thing.
Right.
There's no male Sally Rooney that comes to mind for me that writes like a relatable modern day love story.
And there have been a lot of articles written about that as well, as you know. Yeah. But I just, why do you think you're not, like, is there any, beyond maybe not enough novels existing in that space, do you think you gravitate towards nonfiction for another reason? Like, I almost feel like it's a trope that like dudes love history kind of thing.
Correct. It's the Roman Empire.
The Roman Empire
is running this. For me personally, and I don't know if other people feel like this, it's a lot easier for me to dive into an autobiography or a biography of someone that has a defined start and finish, and you can kind of track their life. Like, it's just an easier, faster, more efficient read for me. If I'm reading as spottily as I do now, which I'm trying to read every night, and I have been, and it's been going great. It's just difficult for me to dive into a fiction book and then put it down for a month and then pick it back up and pick up where I left off. Whereas a biography, it's kind of like, well, once you read it, it's in the past and you can just move forward and keep churning. And if you miss something, it's not going to be some big plot point that like affects the rest of the narrative.
Well, to what you also said about like are a lot of the fiction novels these days positioned towards women. I don't know if that's like a chicken or an egg thing, because this article kind of gets into the fact that one of the reasons that men like are not reading fiction is because it's basically too sensitive, too self-aware, too all these things, and like the nonfiction kind of plays into the more cliched version of what a man is. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm a sensitive boy.
So are they, right?
I don't mind getting some tears out on a plane ride.
The only nonfiction novel that I've read, or the only nonfiction book that I've read in the last few years, is Shoe Dog, the Phil Knight book, which I crushed and really, really enjoyed. But I actually feel the opposite. I'm looking for fiction to read as opposed to nonfiction. And I think that's because I generally I think nonfiction can be really boring, although the books that you're reading sound like they're very interesting. And I also get like this sense of like, kind of to the victor go the spoils in a way. It's like the winners get to write history. That's a lot of how I feel with autobiographies and biographies as well. Is it's like, well, if you've become a great established person, the book about you is probably going to be about how great and established you are. Yeah. Not about, all the shit times and all the or if they do talk about your pitfalls.
Keith McNally's books about the shit times.
Yeah. But they're all in relation, or about how they kind of spurred these great men and women to their heights. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's something about it. I'm looking for, I think, I'm a huge TV fan. I love watching TV, and I find both escapism and relatability to the real world in that type of storytelling. And so it's kind of what I look for in books as well. But maybe that's just because I'm so evolved, Will.
It's true.
I can get you a list of some books here, Barrett.
Nonfiction?
Sure. Of fiction.
Yeah. Okay.
Of some very good fiction. So you're saying that we need a modern day Tom Clancy?
No, I think that's the opposite of what we need. I feel like
you're saying, but you guys are saying like there's not a lot of like male centric fiction now. Like Tom Clancy was the guy back in the day.
I don't want to like. I don't know. I don't know what I want. I don't do any research on male fiction
that's
authors.
All still canon, right?
I just go with
you can still go buy all your Michael Crichton books and Tom Clancy and like, who's the dude who's that? James Patterson. James Patterson, is that Dan Brown? You can get the Da Vinci Code out there. Like, I don't know. Like, I actually think that there's probably a lot less of a like. I don't think this is a supply issue. I think men are choosing not to read fiction.
I agree.
I don't necessarily think it's because there aren't novels out there for us to read.
You've changed it. You've changed that for me. But like, I still can't come up with it. Like, I don't know. Like, my buddy used to not make fun of me, but he really was imploring me to read some Cormac McCarthy before Cormac McCarthy passed away 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And he was like, well, he's the greatest living author and his work is regarded as like masterpieces. Like, you should read it while he's alive so you can appreciate that we have someone in the world that does this. And the second he died, the first text I sent was, well, never opened all the pretty horses.
You know what I think we should all go read? You know what I think all the men out there should probably go read? And I've not read this book. I'd like to. We should all go read Lonesome Dove.
Okay.
That's
I'll do it.
That is like, I feel like that's the South. It's manly, but it's it's real. It's great storytelling, but it's, about cowboys basically. Like, I feel like that's a nice blend of what we're looking for here.
Yeah.
It's got some male idealism, but it's kind of for soft boys too.
So my plan is to finish. I would like to finish. I Regret Almost Everything by Keith McNally by the end of we're going on a family vacation the week after 4th of July. I would like to have that book done. Plus, I would like to have a Manchester United book that I've purchased done as well. And then I'm going to dive into the thicker and more imposing seeming Lorne Michaels book. And once I go from there, I think it's going to be time that I read a fiction book before the end of summer.
Fiction, yeah.
But I'm really trying to knock out more books this summer than I ever have. And if I'm being straight up honest, a main reason that I would like to do that is solely to not be on my phone at night. If I can knock out 20 pages of a book instead of scroll for an hour, an hour. I can read 20 pages in less than an hour. Can I? I don't know.
Yeah. You can do 20 pages in an hour.
For me, it's an attention span thing. Like, I feel like my attention span gets better and better and better as I dive more into reading. And I need to be better about that. But I also just think it's interesting to read about successful people and find out like the small things that you're like, oh, that could apply to me. Oh yeah, that's a good way to think about that. And that's what I felt like with the Graydon Carter book a lot, was just like, oh, see, I compromise on this in life. He wouldn't have compromised here. And that's why he's uber successful and working at Vanity Fair.
Are you going to read Fahrenheit 182?
What is that? Is
Mark Hoppus's autobiography? It came out like a month or two ago.
Randy, you're damn right I am. I did not know that was out. I will absolutely read that.
I think the audiobook is free on Spotify. Well, if you have a premium membership. So that's on my list to listen to.
Did you see my photo I put up from Warped Tour the other day?
I did not. Where'd you put that up?
Go to Twitter right now, or X, as the kids are calling it. I think it's one of my more recent tweets, but a friend of mine sent me a picture of us at Warped Tour 2002 with the lead singer of Real Big Fish, noted ska band.
Yeah.
Sell out. And I'm very proud of my shirt in this. I'm wearing a Bam Margera shirt.
Oh, hell yeah.
I got the braces going. Me and the boys just absolutely buzzing at Detroit Warped Tour.
Look at that facial hair on a real big fish Ska guy.
Dude, what a time. And he was throwing the shocker up.
Dude, is that a Chrome Hearts ring?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Just the boys were absolutely buzzing.
The BAM shirt is super sick.
I was also double layering. I went double T's for the concert.
Back in the day, if you didn't have an undershirt on, what were you doing?
Yeah, imagine not going double T's.
Double T's was sick.
Double T's was so sick.
It was sick.
It was like, hold on. No, this one has a little too much coming out of the sleeve. I need to find a different one. Like, I loved the feeling of having 2 T-shirts on.
That was a good, I like that. Why haven't double T's come back?
I feel like Barrett, it might.
I think it will. I think it definitely will.
I've got a couple shirts at home that would honestly be perfect for the under tee. I might test it out.
Yeah.
I might see if it works still.
All right. I want to real quick here. Have you messed around with this John Mulaney show on Netflix? Everybody's Live.
No.
It's basically like Mulaney. It's like it's ostensibly a late night talk show, but Mulaney's like doing some kind of zany bits with it. Basically, point is, he had Johnny Knoxville on one of these episodes, and he sits down with Johnny and like talks about how Johnny Knoxville changed comedy for him.
Yeah.
Created some of the most hilarious, like laugh out loud moments like of all time. And is like this like paradigm shifting force in comedy with Jackass. And I sat there watching it being like, Bam Margera, this is why Bam Margera is depressed.
Yeah.
Like they invented that shit with CKY. That was Bam and Brandon DiCamillo.
Johnny Knoxville's just getting all the credit.
And Johnny Knoxville just like swooped in because he got cast by MTV or whatever. And like became Jackass and gets 100% of the credit for all of that. That's Bam Margera. Bam Margera is CKY and Jackass.
Bam is on the mend. He's on the mend. Yeah. He was having some pretty severe drug problems. I think people were very concerned about him.
Very, very concerned.
He is now back to skateboarding. He's not his old self, obviously, who would be, 20 years later. But he's really, I think he's giving it a go again. He's doing a lot more skate videos. I'm seeing him a lot more just like doing things that are positive and not being covered in a negative light. So I hope he straightens things out.
Yeah. I mean, maybe, I hope he's getting healthy.
I mean, if we've learned anything from Bam Margera, life can get chaotic, Barrett.
It can. Yeah.
Your life just got a little more chaotic.
It did.
You have a child in the world.
Indeed.
But even though life in general can be chaotic, if you're in charge of order fulfillment for an e-commerce business, you know that it's a special kind of chaos. But with ShipStation, you can count on your day-to-day remaining calm. You can save hours and money every month by shipping from all your stores with one login. You can automate repetitive tasks. You can find the best rates among all global carriers. It's just a great service. If you received a zine from me in the past couple weeks or before when we launched Volume 1 last year, just know that your boy is using ShipStation. ShipStation is great. I get very intimidated by using things like ShipStation because there's so many different ways to ship things that you get nervous that you're not doing the right one. Right. And it's like, well, hold on. If I'm shipping 100 orders and I'm not doing the right thing, I'm missing out on $100 or whatever. Nope. ShipStation makes it so easy. You can even make templates for the products that you're selling. So for the zine, I can just click, single zine, done, boom, done, all done. Label prints out on my label printer, slap it on, it's out the door. If it's a bundle of zines, it's obviously weighs more, needs to be in a bigger envelope. You can just click bundle or you can click sweatshirt. You can click whatever. You never need to upgrade. ShipStation grows with your business no matter how big it gets. But lead your business in the future with their smart features and automations to boost efficiency. Without the automated features, without being able to choose a template for whatever it is, it would take so much longer to ship every single order. I mean, if I just sold 15 zines right there, you can click all 15, you can apply the template to them, and suddenly you got 15 labels in front of you and you're getting it out the door. It's the fastest, most affordable way to ship products to all your customers with discounts up to 88% off UPS, DHL Express, and USPS rates, and up to 90% off FedEx rates. It seamlessly integrates with services and selling channels that you already use, much like our friends over at Shopify that I mentioned earlier. That's exactly what I do. And you just deliver a better customer experience with industry-leading scalable features that help ensure accuracy, get shipments out the door faster, and keep customers happy with automated tracking updates with your company's branding. It's truly great. I wouldn't be glazing it so hard right now if I didn't absolutely love it. Calm the chaos of order fulfillment with the shipping software that delivers. Switch to ShipStation today. Go to ShipStation.com. Use code RetailTherapy to sign up for your free trial. That's ShipStation.com, code RetailTherapy. Have to say,
so much synergy with that, with our sponsors today.
All-time synergy episode for sponsors today. Like the Aura Frame goes crazy, and I use Shopify and ShipStation every single day. It's a beautiful, beautiful ad day. Where do we go? Should we talk some products? Should we talk some cocktails? What do you want to talk? Let's talk product.
I feel like we got to talk product here, okay. And I feel like this little conversation can lead us straight into imminent cops / wish list.
Yeah, we can. Yeah. Kind of my thinking too.
So I think we want to talk shoes. I think we want to talk sneakers.
Let's talk kicks. Kicks.
Let me start with just like a little trend focus. I'll start this off. We have been preaching our Dainty Boy shit for a little while now. Mm-hmm. Now I think last year when we talked about the Dainty Boys on the feet, it was more like the Stofa slipper, the Bodie house shoe. It had a little bit more of a, of a loose kind of.
The boys were trying to lean into ballet flats, essentially.
Yeah.
Randy didn't like the ballet flats.
Belgian loafers were in that conversation. Even something like your Sabas or your Saba slip-ons, that type of thing. So we fast forward a year. Everybody knows that like the low profile Adidas have been trending for a long time, but now we have melded these two things and we got Dainty Boys on the feet in the form of sneakers. GQ has called these the torpedo sneaker. And boy, these are all of a sudden everywhere out here. You can essentially just like throw a dart and hit a pair of these from a lot of different brands. Even the big boys like Nike and Adidas are working on putting stuff out that's like very, very, very low profile. These are leaning in towards a very ballet flat-esque look. They have super, super, super slim soles, very minimal and unstructured uppers. And quite honestly, the baby girls are eating these up. Well,
I get it.
I would say this is kind of led by the Prada collapse, which we've talked about on the show before. Here's an example of the Prada collapse being worn by Harry Styles. Okay.
Huh. He's been sauced out lately.
He has been.
And he's been getting a lot of paparazzi coverage lately as well.
The way that he is wearing the same thing over and over again, I really, really, really like this. Like he's been wearing this vintage purple hat in his blue The Row Jolene jacket, just over and over and over again, and I fuck with it. And I'm gonna bring up here again because the sneaker that is hot on the trail of the Prada collapse is the Margiela Sprinter. Here's Harry Styles in said Row jacket and purple hat, wearing a pair of the Margiela Sprinters. These are more of like a old school Nike waffle runner look. But so they've got that very, very, very retro runner look. And if you need more examples of these, let me introduce you to a couple other baby girls. Here's Jacob Elordi.
Okay, I'm a little confused.
In a pair?
Harry Styles has never even been on the watch list. This seems like a giant omission from us. Is he a baby girl?
I don't know.
I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah,
I hadn't thought of that.
I think
is he diverse enough in his range? I guess.
Do you know what I think happened? I think Harry Styles kind of stepped out of the spotlight while we got hot and heavy with our baby girls.
Yeah,
true.
And therefore wasn't ever kind of in the mix or consideration. But I feel like he fits the bill.
He does fit the bill. Like any press he gets, it's usually pretty freaking positive.
Yeah.
I think
this is a great
would just
call.
put him on the list and not even watch list.
But he's
got the style to pull off baby girl.
Gong him up, Brandy.
All right.
Yeah, gong our man up.
There's a big that's a big one because he's going straight to the list.
He just hasn't been in any films or released any new music.
Why doesn't he act? Does he not act at all?
It was like ever since the Chris Pine spitting situation, like he hasn't been on there.
It was Don't Worry Darling and then the tour. And then that was it. And finally, here's a third baby girl, Pedro Pascal, wearing a pair of the Margiela Sprinters.
Can I say something?
Yeah, please do.
As someone who doesn't take in, I don't not take in Pedro Pascal stuff because I don't like him. That's obviously not it. He's a baby girl. But like, I'm kind of getting exhausted of the guy right now.
Is he getting oversaturated?
Yeah, like I feel like he needs to take a little step back.
He's in like every franchise.
I know, and I feel like, but he's such a likable baby girl at this point that everyone wants a piece of him, and he's doing everything.
2025 is the year of Pedro.
It really is.
Yeah.
Is it? Are we? So I've never known what to say. Is it Pedro or Pedro? I've heard people say Pedro Pascal.
Pedro. Oh man,
I don't know.
I feel like Pedro is like the very American way to say it. Like the very like Pedro.
Hey Pedro.
Hey Pedro. In the native tongue, it's probably closer to Pedro.
Pedro.
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal.
So we got the Margiela Sprinters out there. And then finally, this was the hottest shoe on TikTok all spring. And I'm bringing up Harry again because he's worn all three. This is the Dries Van Noten flat sneaker. Again, you can see very, very slim, very, very low profile. So
like if you wiggle that pinky toe, you see it.
That is correct.
You see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is she wearing?
This is a fan. So she's just in some big jorts in a rugby.
I was talking about the shoes, the very like Velcro-y.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think that those are the Billie Eilish Nike Air Force Ones.
Ah, yeah. I see.
Okay.
Man, the raw cotton canvas jacket that our man Harry's been rocking around ain't cheap, huh?
No, it is not. No, it is not.
No.
But it's the perfection of an item that it's what the Row does so well.
He's just getting his cost per wear.
And he's getting his cost per wear way down.
Got to respect that he's doing that. It's a cool jacket. It's a cool jacket.
I mean, here's the thing. It's a French blue chore jacket.
Yeah.
You do not need to spend $1,500 on the Rows. Do I want to? Yes, of course. But you don't have to. You can swagger jack this look for, anywhere from $25 at a thrift store to the Rose perfected version.
I think I just saw one very similar to it on J. Crew the other day.
Yeah.
Not in terms of color.
What I really like about the Rose Jolene, as Harry has worn it, it's this very like cocooning fit. Whereas the classic chore jackets are a little bit closer to the body because they're designed to be functional. They're for doing chores. They're for working.
Here, they got a Wallace & Barnes lightweight twill chore jacket for $178 on J. Crew.
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah,
if you want to redo that look,
size up, throw that thing in the wash a few times. You're in business. So I just wanted to shout out Torpedo sneakers, this super low profile slim thing, because this is very much happening in sneaker world, and there are a ton out there. I would look at the. Hopefully we can send out a newsletter. I know that we get very testy about that. But there are much cheaper versions than the three designer ones that I just laid out. There's the Autry. There's one from Autry. There's one from Collegium. There's the new Converse, Tyler the Creator Golf LaFleur version that just came out. There's so many options out there, but that's the move if you're looking for new sneakers this summer. Or the move might be a grandpa shoe.
These grandpa shoes, I think, are much more winter coated than anything. Drake's and New Balance just put out a grandpa shoe. We talked about the Mephistos for a little bit, right?
We did, and we did bring up the. I think it was a UK store called Hip that did an all brown leather version of this shoe. The Allerdale, is it called the Allerdale?
Yes. And then they also have like another one that's New Balance Drake's that is all brown as well for $250.
Okay.
Which is about half the price of the Mephistos.
Yeah.
And so even though these shoes are pretty pricey, if you comp them to what they're kind of modeled after in a way, it's not as bad as you'd think. But Drake's just did another New Balance collab that is a lot more colorful.
Very colorful. Yeah.
And it's my wish list item for the week, but it's also my imminent cop item because it's going to be delivered Monday. I had to know what they were like. I had to. I don't know why. I just was like, okay, this is kind of a wild ass shoe to buy for me. I usually don't wear stuff that is this like colorful or whatever, but you remember my skate shoes that I wore like every day, like a couple years ago that had camouflage, orange laces. Like this is the replacement for those.
Okay.
When I'm feeling like I need a little spice in my whatever.
Now, important question: which lace are you gonna lace up first?
I'm gonna take the black ones. I'm gonna throw them away. They're gone. They're absolutely gone. I think I'm gonna lead with the orange. Actually,
you gotta go orange.
I don't think they're gonna fit me. Like I just have had really bad luck buying shoes online lately. Even if I've done everything I can, and I just still always have to send them back.
You need to go walk into like a Nordstrom and put your foot down on a Brannick device.
I do.
And just like get your real true size.
Exactly. I do. And I need to go to Nordstrom anyway. Yeah. So like I just needs to go. It needs to happen because I've just been having hard luck with it. But there's something about these that, and I don't know what it is that I'm just kind of into. I like the mixed medium of all the different fabrics. I like the different colors. I think they could arrive and be the ugliest shoe that I've ever seen. But I also think they could arrive and I'd be like, you know what? I like these. So I'm giving them a spin, Barrett. I haven't bought a new pair of sneakers. I replaced my Tom Sachs with another pair of Tom Sachs. Okay. Uninspiring stuff for me.
Did you keep the original pair? Like your first pair?
Yes. So
as like beaters or
they
whatever?
Are my constant. So I kind of messed up, man. I wore them out in a field while playing with my sons. We were flying a kite over Memorial Day, and I wore them into a giant field that had like burrs and stuff like that. They got so dirty in that one day that I immediately was glad that I already had another pair sitting at home that was fresh, but they got so dirty that they're not going to get clean from this. Okay. And so they are now my concert shoe, my go out, like running outside to go do something, maybe in the garden or something. Like I don't need to worry about them. But yeah, I'm not going to get rid of the old ones because I still really like how they fit and they're comfortable. I wore them last night to a concert. So,
well, this is actually perfect because we are each experimenting with kind of maybe the two prongs of sneaker trends right now. This is an article from High Snobiety from about a month ago called Steal Grandpa's Shoes, which names the Mephistos. It names the New Balance Allerdale. It names some Merrell stuff like the Jungle Mocks that are out there as well. And because my imminent cop is I did purchase a pair of the Drees sneakers from the Essence sale. So that's what I will be messing around with this summer is a little pair of Dainty Boys. See how they work on me.
Get you some Dainty Boys.
Here is, I will say, the one thing that I like the look. For me, the drawback of moving into a Dainty Boy era like this, I liked how a chunky sneaker gives me a little bit of height.
I don't hate it. Yeah, these have a big sole. Big sole.
And the Allerdale and the kind of the grandpa shoe will still do that for you. Whereas these, this is just my true height, baby.
Yep.
I'm stepping out in these and you know how tall I am.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. You don't got to take those off at the doctor. They're like, nah, leave them on.
You can leave those on.
You're fine.
So that's my only hesitation for this, but I will say I appreciate the overall look. I do think it kind of looks cool.
Yeah. So. Yeah, they do. Yeah. I have such dad legs at this point that like wearing the daintier sneakers is visually tough for me, but I wore Vans for so long, like exclusively, that it should be easier. I also think it just depends on the pants. Like
totally.
Man, I went to the tailor yesterday for the first time in over a year and dropped off 3 different pairs of pants to get fixed up or hemmed or whatever. And I have never been more excited to go pick up a haul from the tailor.
Yeah.
Had to find a new tailor.
Okay.
I got tired of going to Ace Tailor and having them mess up all my stuff.
Which Ace were you going to?
I've been to a few of them. Okay. I think the best one in Austin that I've been to is the one off 360. That's the best one. Yeah. And then the one that is off of North Lamar is trash.
Like at 12th and Lamar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the worst one.
They screwed up. Like they straight up just ruined a couple pieces for me that I was like, okay, is there any repercussion
for some reason,
here?
Everybody that works at that one is an asshole too.
Yeah. Like they truly don't care. And then one day I picked up a pair of pants and I was just like, this is so incorrect that I cannot even begin to explain. And they were like, all right, we'll have it done by the end of the day. And then I picked them up again and it was even worse. And I was like, yeah, okay, I guess I'll just go figure something else out.
Where are you trying?
Couldn't tell you the name. Okay. It's someone that Sally's been going to since the day I met her. Okay. And so I decided, you know what? I'm going to put my eggs in that basket.
Okay.
Well, it's going to feel good.
Well, good luck with that.
Thank you.
Always a, it's a treacherous endeavor finding somebody that can tailor stuff the way you want it done.
Well, Barrett, I mentioned just now that I went to a concert last night.
Yes.
I went to a concert at 310.
Yeah.
This small venue underneath ACL's Moody Theater. And I went to they're called Deadeye. They're Austin's premier Grateful Dead cover band. And I have to say, they're very good. Rhythm guitar player was sick last night, so they had a different first set, but they got a fill-in guy for the second set. And they were really, really good. If you have the opportunity to see them, they go all around Texas. But it was either last week or the week before, I got a little flooding of the DMs. People were saying it was the most retail therapy thing they'd seen yet. Loewe did a collaboration with Grateful Dead. And there's a common term used in the modern day Deadhead sphere it's either Jerry would have loved this or Jerry would have hated this. And I don't know where he would fall, but I don't think he would have liked what's going on here.
Jerry would have hated this.
Sally is absolutely begging me to get this shirt. She just wants it in the closet.
Yeah.
But, part of the reason I like Deadhead fashion is because a lot of it is done by independent artists that you can go support, and then they can go use that money to go buy a ticket to the concert. Like, I like that exchange, and I like that. It does feel dirty to be buying designer stuff with the Deadhead ethos to it.
Well, this $700 Loewe Grateful Dead shirt is completely sold out, by the way. So
it is.
You can't cop, at least not from Loewe's website.
If I did cop, Barrett, I'd probably go on like Temu or whatever and go figure out that route. There's got to be something on there. But like the thing that got roasted the most was easily, it wasn't the green shirt that Barrett has on the screen right now. It was hands down the relaxed fit t-shirt in cotton, which is all of, let me see.
The one that I've got pulled up here?
Yeah. Is there no price on this right now?
No. It's right there. It's right.
$1,800.
$1,800. And if you see, you'll see why.
Yeah. What is it? Sequins?
Bedazzled. Yeah, it's sequined.
Oh,
people know likely that one. It was getting roasted by every meme account that I follow. Like, it was just getting killed, and it should.
Okay. Now, you've linked 3 products. I've pulled up the first 2. I like the green shirt. It's cool. It's got a good wash. I like the bear on top of the Loewe anagram logo. This is the one right here. This is sick.
It's the one. It's
this
cool.
Is pretty sick.
It's really cool. It's really, really cool. Like, I actually think it's awesome.
This is a women's crop top, and it's basically been cropped with all these embroidered bears, kind of ringing the t-shirt. And they're all kind of like hanging off almost in like a fringe style for those that are not able to watch our show on YouTube. This is cool. Imagine a black crop top t-shirt, but instead of fringe hanging off of it, it's just embroidered Grateful Dead bears hanging.
They could have done some shorts with this too.
They could have.
They could have easily done some shorts with that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Also looks like this is unavailable. This was
$950.
This was a popular $1,000 t-shirt. Do you get the sense? Look, I know that you've just had discussions about this with some of your haters. Even the Grateful Dead is following a jam band has always been like this kind of like crusty hippie Wookiee drugged out like sideshow for members of the subculture. Grateful Dead has very much like at least it has. I don't know if it's split into 2 different lanes or if it has just added this, but like this is not surprising. Like there are $3,000 Grateful Dead cashmere blankets from James Purse. There's the Loewe collaboration now. There's all these things that are like sort of things that feel like anathema to the original kind of idea of the Grateful Dead and of following a jam band. Like how does the culture like reconcile what's happening out there? Like do you see this type of stuff when you go to the Sphere?
No.
Okay.
No, not really. You'll see people wearing like designer stuff with Grateful Dead stuff on it, like walking around Las Vegas and everything. But when you're at the Sphere, like there's just so many people wearing normal t-shirts and not getting dressed to the nines. And, it kind of goes against like the whole ethos of the community.
I'm curious who. I think this is a very cool t-shirt, but
there are so many Grateful Dead fans who have money and money to spend. And this could be for a million different reasons. You know, it could be a 23-year-old frat boy that went to Georgia who got into jam bands that has generational wealth from his parents. But it also can be a 65-year-old guy who used to go to Dead shows in his younger years who now has a great job and wants like cool Dead stuff, you know? And I'm of the thinking that I'm not going to complain about my favorite band getting like just noted for, I mean, just getting collaborated with. Like, I'm not going to complain that they're getting promoted, that they're getting more widespread. That's a great thing for me because I want to force Dead & Company to play as many shows as they can before Bob Weir dies. And like, I've sat here with you and talked about how like, oh man, how cool would it be if like we were Mets fans and we could get the ALD stuff and like do it. Well, like my hand has been forced now because Loewe, which I think is my favorite current designer brand that I can't afford anything from, like they're officially doing it with my favorite band. And I'm sitting here, I can't complain about it. I just can't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, I'm asking the question of who this is for. And I think it is for, you know, it's your ilk. It's you and the friends that you go with to the Sphere, right? Like I think y'all are the ones that are in the position where you're the right age. You have disposable income, and maybe you can talk like, because like the old heads, the two people that you just described, the Georgia frat guy with dad's black card and the 65-year-old, like they're not buying this.
No. The 65-year-old might, especially in Vegas, see a Loewe store and he walks in. Oh, cool shirt. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, maybe. Put
it on the Centurion.
Yeah, I can see that. So they're you know, they've targeted you properly. They just need to. I mean, they just need to restock, I guess.
I would have asked for this for Father's Day had it dropped a little earlier. Like, come on. That's one of those things that I'll never buy for myself. But if someone hands it over to me, I'm probably going to put it on. But I don't know. I mean, when I did the collaboration with Jocelyn Kowalski, like it was just cool to do something that I wanted to do and have it sent out to her Deadhead following and now have a cool shirt, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, but it's ridiculous too, because like, even if you're shopping for vintage Dead tees, you can pay up to $250 for one.
Right.
And so I don't even like, you know, if you're going to complain about price of things, like a lot of these things are just expensive and, you know, tickets are expensive, everything's expensive. And so I mean, it's all about what's worth it for you.
That's the other thing is like seemingly like all hobbies, the following the Dead has been commercialized to the point where it's not an inexpensive thing to do. And not that following a band is ever an inexpensive thing to do, but this is a lot different than when they were, I don't know, like hitting places like Cynthia Wood's Mitchell Pavilion in the Woodlands in 1992 or whatever. And like touring these like kind of more off the beaten path spots. And it's very, very much like a counterculture, not
one of my favorite shows is from Iowa.
Yeah.
Shouts to Iowa. No disrespect there.
So that I think that's what I would say to any of the kind of complaining old heads too, is like this isn't what it once was, and that's okay. It's a different thing now, and you kind of have to learn to live with that.
It's also the John Mayer effect. Like you say what you want about John Mayer, I'll say what I want to say about him. He's one of the greatest living guitar players, so I'm glad he's part of the band that I like. But he's a fashion guy. Yep. You know, he's a watch guy. Like, I mean, if Deadheads they'll look up at him on the stage and he's got on a $100,000 watch, you know? Right. And so like, whether or not it jives with the history of everything, it is just kind of, you know, people like designer stuff, and John Mayer's he's not different in that. What?
These be hitting the resale market, Will.
Horde. Damn. $2,000 on sale from $2,050 on sale from $2,050. That's crazy.
That's the Sally size right there too. So you might want to bookmark that one.
No, I'm good. good. I just had the new camera purchase sucked up my expendable income.
Did you buy a camera that is different than the one that broke?
Yes. So my camera broke, and I went to Precision Camera in Austin, very close to Bartlett's, our Hillstone establishment. And I just went in and said I needed a new film camera, and I bought a much, I don't know if nicer is the word, but a more traditional film camera. Like there's not as much of a brain in it as the one that I had. And so there's a big learning curve. And so I was glad to fix my older camera so I can at least take it out of town with me and take more photos with it. But I'm excited to learn about using this new one because I do think the photos will come out cooler. But it's I called a guy and I was given a card for someone to repair my camera. And I called him and he said, well, what year is your camera from? And I said, 2002. And he just laughed. He goes, no, don't bother. Don't put money into this thing. Go get a new one. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of what I thought. But this lady convinced me to call you. So, we'll see how it goes. And do we need to do wish list items or are we sticking with what we said?
I think we can leave it at our imminent cops there on the sneaker front, unless you have something that you want to talk about.
No, that's truly it. Like the only other thing which I think we need to save is probably I'm looking for what do I even call it, Barrett? A dinner jacket? A dinner jacket means like a white jacket.
Yeah, you don't know. You're looking for a
sport coat?
A sport coat.
I need a sport coat.
A sport coat or a blazer.
That's really the main thing, but I think that ship is sailed.
Menswear guy could probably tell us the difference between those two things in a 47 thread tweet.
He could.
So
he could.
We'll look out for that.
That's part of the reason I've been struggling with it is because I'll see a jacket that I like, but then realize it's a part of a suit. And then I'm like, well, my brain is not very good at calculating. If I see someone out wearing a jacket, I never think to myself, oh, that's a suit jacket. I'm not coded like that.
Yeah.
Look, I don't know what the telltale signs are.
There are some, and there are, but if you're basically, if it's being like some of the links that I sent you from Mr. Porter when I was, looking around for you, a lot of that is like, has that part of a suit, but if it's being sold as separates, a lot of times that does mean that the jacket can be worn on its own.
That's where I start. I usually don't care about the fashion rules. I usually don't care, but there's something about that when you're trying to look really good. I don't want to get called out.
No, I'm with you. There is I prefer to buy something that is specifically a sport coat or a blazer if that's how I'm going to wear it.
Yeah. And I'm going to say this, Will, as a guy who does this often for the game show, don't be afraid to go to the thrift store.
No, I know.
They have a lot of good stuff.
I'm not that opposed to going and finding something that just fits and looks cool. It's not something that I'm going to wear to something I'm going to be photographed in. It's mainly just wearing to dinners and stuff. And so, I don't really have anything right now that's not more winter centric.
So what are you gonna bring for your?
I don't know. I have a gray wool jacket, sport coat that I can bring. That's just kind of my staple. If I need it, I can wear it. Mm-hmm. But I really don't know. I might need to step out this weekend and try to find something. I might need to do some shopping this weekend.
Sure.
Yeah. My hand's being forced. I got the email that said that, by the way, it just says by the way, you need to wear a jacket to this. Okay.
Fancy.
Okay.
Fancy.
Okay.
You can't even find a place that makes you do that in Austin.
I know, right?
So. All right.
I think that's it.
Anything else?
We'll be back next week. We are going to, we'll probably not have video next week because Randy's going to be out, but we'll make sure we do an episode where we don't rely on graphics too much. But Randy, enjoy your vacay.
Well, thank you.
And I will see you in 2 weeks since I'm leaving town the week after you.
All right.
Congrats,
we'll see you guys
Barrett.
Later.
Yeah, congratulations,
Bye-bye.
Barrett.
Thank you.
Very happy for you guys.